Starting an OnlyFans was a spur-of-the-moment decision I made. I was unemployed, drowning in debt. This is why I cared for the money so much that I was ready to do anything for it. It was Friday night. I had put on a cute costume and was all set to go live with my OnlyFans. Suddenly, I got a DM from a client.
Respond if you want a quick $1,000.
Lucifer333. I clicked on the profile. Just a username I didn't recognize. No picture, no details, and I couldn't remember if I had interacted with him before. I don't usually respond to DMs, and I was busy getting ready for a live stream, but that amount of money got my attention. I asked.
What's the request?
The reply came immediately.
I want you to draw something.
I stared at the message for a second.
What? You're joking.
No, I'm serious. Draw me a picture. $1,000, no joke. Trust me.
I'd been an adult content creator for 5 years. Honestly, I've gotten a lot over that period, but this was maybe the weirdest request I've ever gotten. $1,000 just for some stupid drawing. This guy intrigued me.
I don't draw. I'm not an artist.
You don't need to be. I just want you to draw this. Do it and the money will be yours.
Fine. What do I have to draw?
This.
He sent an image attached. I expected it to be some explicit photo, but once I opened it, I was surprised. It was a scanned image of a page from a very old book, a big circle with a pentagram inside, and a big blue eye right in the middle. I'd never seen anything like it.
What is this?
No answer. I waited, kept staring at the image, and then my eyes glanced up at the message chain, at the promised $1,000. Probably 8 streaming sessions worth of work, and if this is his kink, who am I to judge?
You just want me to draw this? Like, on paint or something?
No, on your floor, with chalk.
You sure this isn't a joke?
No, it's not.
$50 was credited to my account. This guy was a freaking trip, but he wasn't kidding.
I don't have chalk.
No, need it now.
It never fails. When the mood strikes, the mood strikes. They got to get off right away. I rummaged through the desk next to my cam setup, pushed aside random things, makeup, papers, and my toys. I found a pencil. I looked at the hardwood floor in my apartment. No way that was going to work. Then I remembered and found my old purse on the floor in my closet, and inside it, a thick black Sharpie. I tested it on the floor. Bingo. I messaged him back.
Will a marker work?
Again, the reply was immediate.
Yes, as long as I can see it. Draw big.
Calm down, my guy. Horniness does strange things to a man. Well, fine. It wouldn't take me more than a minute.
Okay, drawing now.
I pulled up the pic he sent me on my phone and kneeled on the floor next to my bed, pulled aside the carpet, put the Sharpie to the hardwood, and began to draw. It showed up pretty well. I turned down the lights and took a photo of it with a flash, then sent it to Lucifer333.
How's this?
No reply.
Huh?
Still nothing. Then my phone buzzed. $1,000 credited to my account. He then replied,
Yes! You did so well!
Bloody hell. I just made more money than I did in the last month of camming.
I'm glad you like it.
This guy was probably pleasuring himself to a circle I just drew in Sharpie on my dirty apartment floor right now, I thought. Thinking we were done, I moved to start my live stream, but then he surprised me.
Want to make 5K tonight?
What? You mean 3K more?
No, I mean 5K more.
Okay, duck the live stream. This guy could pay my bills for life.
Anything for you, Lucifer.
Awesome. I just need you to say something and videotape it.
I'm not gonna lie, this request was another curveball.
What do you want me to say, Daddy?
I replied to spice things up a bit. Okay, it was a shot in the dark, but a pretty substantial portion of my clients like it, and I kind of like it too. Suddenly, a message popped up. I wrinkled my brow reading it because it looked like complete nonsense.
Rege Satanas, Ave Satanas, Hail Satanas. Say it 3 times.
I started thinking about this. Maybe this dude is into gothic stuff. I mean, people are into weird things, and this wasn't my first time dealing with it. But still, something felt off. This was weird. Another message snapped me out of it.
Please, I need it.
Another $500 credited to my account.
That's just for you. I'll give you 5K more.
Man, he is desperate. I couldn't say no anymore. I started the recording and began saying the lines.
Rege Satanas, Ave Satanas, Hail Satanas. Rege Satanas, Ave Satanas, Hail Satanas.
As I got done with the 3rd time, my night lamp exploded. The power went out and I stood in the darkness in front of my laptop. A shiver ran down my spine as my room suddenly got too cold. I messaged the guy.
What is all this? What did you make me do?
But he didn't reply. My head began to feel dizzy. My stomach hurt like something was trying to come out of me. I rushed to the bathroom, but fell on the floor even before reaching it. My eyes rolled into my head, and a stroke of bile hit my throat. As I vomited, I saw in my inner vision I was floating in an infinite space filled with nothing but fire. The writhing flame touched my skin and started burning it. I could smell the smoky flesh and felt excruciating pain. It was like I was thrown into an incinerator to burn alive. I wanted to scream, but instead of voice, molten lava came out of my mouth. The fire was eating me inside out. Suddenly, the face of my mom flashed in front of my eyes, and I screamed.
Dear Lord, save me!
Everything went black after that. I woke up hours later on the floor. My skin had red, burnt wounds. My head was throbbing, and no matter how much I tried, I couldn't get up. Suddenly my eyes went to the floor, and I saw a curled up piece of fleshy discharge, reeking like death. What the hell came out of my mouth? I was beyond terrified. I somehow got up and went to my laptop. The guy was still there and had sent me tons of messages.
Did you do it? Send me the audio clip. Where did you go? Hello? Don't you want my money?
But I had enough. I blocked him and went offline. For the next few days, I suffered from fever, sudden vomiting, and severe headaches. A week later, when I finally got well, I rubbed off the symbol he made me draw. I also deleted the recording from my phone. Not just that, I even did some research on the symbol. What I found gave me chills. It was a symbol to summon the dark spirits. Basically, the freak made me perform a satanic occult ritual in my own house without my knowledge. Those out there, storming your life through the world of the internet, I only have one thing to say to you. No matter what anyone says, learn to set boundaries in your life online. Or else, God knows where will you end up.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the video. If so, please leave a like. And also, a small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed. If you want to support this channel and make this channel reach the 1 million mark, please consider subscribing. It's free and you can change your mind later. Enjoy.
OnlyFans used to be such a popular platform. It used to be a place where models could make a lot of money by posting videos and pictures for their fans. Maybe it was still like this for the really popular models, but not for me. I've used this platform for years, but never really made that much money. I was always just kind of scraping by. Recently, things had gotten even worse. My subscriber count was dwindling, and I was barely making enough to pay my bills. I had to do something to make some quick cash. And one day, a subscriber sent me a message that gave me a brilliant idea. Why not mesh my love for horror movies with my OnlyFans account? I could create horror stories that my subscribers could pay to watch. See, I'd mentioned my love for horror stories on my OnlyFans page before, and some of my loyal fans still knew that I loved all things horror.
Why don't you use your love for horror to make some extra cash? It's a unique business model that you could totally cash in on. Seductive horror flicks that only your subscribers like me have access to.
I read the message over and over again, and it finally clicked. That's exactly what I would do. I would create horror stories for my fans to enjoy for a price. The first few films were really basic, just some scary, shaky movie shots paired with my alluring nature. But soon, I decided to up the ante and make things more interactive. I started filming with other people, and we would act out horror scenes from some of my subscribers' fantasies. Things were going really great at first. My subscribers were loving the new content, and I was making more money than ever before. But then one day, things took a turn for the worse. It was the day I received another message from the original subscriber who had suggested the whole idea.
Do you think I could be a part of one of your horror films? I have some great ideas.
I responded with a simple,
Sure.
not thinking much of it. I mean, what harm could it do? But little did I know that this fan had something much more sinister in mind. We first met up at a Starbucks in my town. As I sat down at the table, I noticed the man in front of me was slightly pudgy with an unkempt beard. He was definitely not my type, but I didn't want to be rude. We talked for a bit, and he told me some of his ideas for the film. They were all really dark and twisted, and I have to admit that they did give me the chills. But that is what horror is really about, right?
I've got quite a lot of expensive camera equipment. We could use my place to film too. I'm a part-time landlord, so I've got an empty apartment that we could use.
I mulled it over for a bit. His ideas were good and his offer was tempting, but something inside me just didn't feel right. I had a bad feeling about this whole thing, but I couldn't shake it. Still, I ended up saying yes. Big mistake. We started filming that very night, and things were going great at first. The dude actually had a really cool setup, and the entire process was going well, until I received a notification on my phone. Why are you streaming this on OnlyFans? I thought you were making a movie. I stared at the message on my phone, confused.
What's the matter, sweet? Is everything okay? We only have a few more scenes.
Are we streaming this, Darren?
As I stared at him, a change came over his face. Anger filled every crevice of his being, and he slammed his hand on the door of the apartment.
Who told you? Who told you I was streaming this?
Before I could answer, he lunged at me, and everything went black. I woke up tied to a chair with the bright light shining on my face. I squinted against the light, trying to make out where I was. It looked like I was in some sort of basement. And then I saw him. Darren. He was sitting in a chair across from me, holding my phone.
Now, the real horror movie is going to begin, my sweet. My kitten, my model. You're going to be the star of a real horror movie, darling. I'll cut you loose now. Try to escape if you can.
He released me from the chair and I tried to run, but he was already behind me, his hand wrapping around my throat. He flung me to the ground, all the while holding his camera and pointing it at me.
And action.
I stumbled to my feet and ran away from him, but he was right behind me, laughing maniacally the whole time. He chased me through the basement, and I could hear his heavy breathing as he ran after me. I was about to give up. I stumbled to a halt, but I heard him panting behind me, a knife in his hand as he ran with the camera in the other.
Where do you think you're going? The show's just getting started.
I turned around to face him, and that's when I saw it. The glint of the knife in the light, the madness in his eyes. And then he was upon me, stabbing me over and over as I screamed for help. The last thing I remember was him holding me close as I bled out, the camera still rolling the whole time. When I woke up, I was tied to a chair again. I felt numb all over, and my vision was blurred. I could hear Darren's voice, but it sounded distant.
It's lucky I didn't get too carried away, isn't it? We still need a promo video, don't we, my sweet?
I saw Darren's sickly face in front of me, a grin spreading across his fat cheeks as he watched me. Looking down, I saw my bloodied body, roughly bandaged up in an attempt to keep me alive. He stood above me, his grin on his face and a camera still in his hand as he cackled in my face, and he taunted me again and again, making fun of me each time I felt myself drifting to the edge of reality. I could feel myself fading, feel myself slipping away as I complied with his demands and did everything he told me to.
Don't worry, the pain will go away soon. If you don't want me to make it worse, though, you'll do as I say.
Now, if you're watching this, it means that Darren has uploaded the video of my murder to OnlyFans. And if you're a subscriber, then you're one of the lucky ones who gets to see it. The world of OnlyFans has always caught my attention, not to consume it, but for the money that can be earned there. I have a lot of female friends who have OnlyFans, and all of them are troubled by the same things: the stalkers, the competition, and the misogyny. That always made me think, what if I opened my OnlyFans? Being a man, I wouldn't have to put up with any of this. On the platform, men are much fewer, and the women who enter OnlyFans are usually calmer. If one of them decided to harass me, I could quietly contain her, or so I thought. My success was almost instantaneous. Soon, I started to make a lot of money. I didn't even have to strip completely naked, but I was willing to do it. My only regret was that I didn't do this sooner. Or at least, that was until Gabby showed up. The day I met her, I was walking down the street and she jumped out at me. She told me her name was Gabby and that she was a big fan of mine and that she was one of the first people to send me money. I, of course, was nice to her and chatted for a while, but as I was leaving, I noticed that she kept looking at me as if she was waiting for something else to happen with that encounter. During the following days, something strange started to happen. I started receiving very violent messages from a Miss G. Some said that it was her fantasy to tie me to a bed and set me on fire. Other messages said that she wanted to beat me until she disfigured my beautiful face and then feed me to her dogs. And others said she was watching me, always. Some of them described how I was dressed and what I did that day. Others described what was going on in the privacy of my home. This person was a stalker, and although I admit I was a little afraid of her.
Miss Gabby?
For the next few days, I walked the streets a little worried, watching for anyone who might be watching me. It wasn't many days before I saw her again.
Hey, I can't believe I ran into you again.
Cut it! Who do you think you are to send me those messages? So, you're gonna set me on fire? Are you gonna feed me to the dogs?
I don't know what you're talking about. I never wrote anything like that.
Oh, come on, Miss G. Do you think I don't have a brain? Every day you send me these messages and, oh surprise, you're the only person I come across. The only person who knows where I live. If you send me one more message, I swear you'll pay for it. Understand?
Crying, Gabby just nodded and left. At that moment, I had a lot of doubts. Maybe I shouldn't have grabbed her jacket like that. I must admit, I got very upset. I was scared. However, all my doubts were cleared up when I saw Gabby from a distance. She was rubbing the part of her jacket I grabbed with her face with a sickly smile. When I got home, I decided this was no longer my ideal job. After taking a day to think about it, I decided to close my OnlyFans account for good. But a few hours after I did, my doorbell rang. For a moment, I thought it might be Gabby, but when I looked through the camera, it was a grandmother.
Excuse me, young man. I think I got lost. I was walking with my son and suddenly he was no longer there.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
You are a young and carefree boy. May I take the liberty of asking you to accompany me to look for him? I know he's nearby.
Of course. Let me get my keys.
Before I go, could I ask you for a glass of water? I'm very shocked.
Of course. Come in. I'll get you a glass right away.
I have a grandmother her age too, so I understand the desperation of losing her. I had to help this lady. As I poured the glass of water, thinking about where to go, My thoughts were interrupted when I felt cold water on my neck. Suddenly, I began to feel dizzy and lose consciousness. When I turned around, Grandma was behind me with a huge smile on her face.
You shouldn't have closed your account. I'm Miss G, but you can call me Miss Granny. Nice to meet you.
After that, I fell to the floor and hit my head, but I didn't feel anything. When I opened my eyes, I felt like I had slept for hours. I was still dizzy. I couldn't think clearly. What had they injected me with? I tried to move my body, but it did not react. This time, it wasn't because of the effects of the syringe, though. I was tied up on a bed.
You finally woke up.
What you doing?
I was still having trouble speaking.
I'm just living my fantasies. I told you I was going to tie you up and set you on fire. Remember?
No.
Unfortunately, I don't have dogs to throw you to. I'm not an animal lady. I'm sorry I lied to you. What I do have is a lighter and some alcohol.
I wanna live.
Oh, don't be selfish, boy. It's enough that you closed your account without my permission.
The old woman throws some alcohol on the back of the mattress with a lighter and lights it. The fire advances very slowly. I tried to move and escape, but it was useless. My body was too weak.
Oh, are you trying to escape? That's not very polite. You know, I was going to inject you with another dose, so that you don't suffer. But as I see so much energy in you, I think I won't use it.
The fire was slowly advancing across the mattress. It was not near me, but the heat was beginning to reach my feet. In my last moments, I stared into Grandma's eyes, full of joy. But to my surprise, a silhouette was behind her.
Gabby?
When the lady turned around, a knife pierced her neck. It was Gabby.
Get away from him, witch!
Without resisting, the lady just fell to the floor.
I'm sorry I came into your house, but I saw everything. I couldn't leave you alone with her.
Thank you. Please, help me.
Quickly, Gabby slashed the knots with the knife. I was free. I jumped off the bed and, still dizzy, began to crawl out.
Hey, maybe it's not as bad as you think.
What?
You don't love me the way I love you. And that won't change, even after I've saved you. I disgust you.
Gabby. No.
But I still have a chance to stay with you forever. If we both burn together, our bodies will be one. We could be immortalized in that bed. It's already decided. You'll go back to bed, but with me.
As she said this, Gabby rushed to me and tried to lift me. I had regained some strength, but not enough to escape. She started dragging me towards the burning bed, but I found one last glimmer of hope. On my way to the bed, I grabbed the syringe from the old woman's lifeless hand and stuck it into Gabby's leg. She fell, and I began to crawl out of the house faster and faster. Behind me, Gabby refused to faint. She stood up and was limping towards my position at great speed. She was catching up, but when she was in front of me, she gave way and fell, and with my last effort, I escaped from the house. Neighbors came quickly to help me and pulled me away from the house that was beginning to burn. A few minutes later, the firemen arrived before the house burned to the ground. Gabby survived the fire, but with several burns and was about to face a murder and harassment trial. Even though she saved me, I will not forgive her for trying to kill me, so I plan to follow this trial to its conclusion. Who knows what she would do to me if she were to go free. For my part, I will never create an OnlyFans account again. If there's one thing I learned from this experience, it's that madness has no face, no gender, and no age. It can be behind anyone, and when you least expect it, it can catch up with you.